episode 33. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to jump right into my works in progress, to things I've been working on. And in this little yellow bag, I have a pair of socks that I started since the last podcast. And this is the yarn that I'm using. See, it's, oops, I just dropped something. The Zauberball Stark 6. And here's what it looks like. It's kind of a spring color. And I really like it. I like the Zauberball. It knits up really nice and it wears really nice. And this one is color number 2334. So I have the first one finished except for the heel. I don't have the heel in there yet, but this is what it knits up like. And I really like it. And so on this one I did 28 rows on the cuff, and then I wanted to make these a little bit taller to wear for winter because the yarn seems to be just a little bit thicker. So sometimes this Zauberball is a little thinner, sometimes it's a little thicker. And then I'm on my second cuff. So, and it doesn't match. It's just, it goes from one color to the next. So I really enjoy the Zauberball socks. And this is where I put my afterthought heel, my waist yarn for my afterthought heel right there. So when I'm done, I'll just measure them up to make sure they're the same length. And then I'll put in my waist yarn for the second one. And I will continue on with those. I've been working on those on the train to work. Oh, also on those, on the first one, once I finished the ribbing, I liked to do the ribbing and the cast on the 4 needles. But then I was switching over to this little 9-inch sock needle. And I think I was using size 3.0 on this because this is such larger yarn. It just seems so much bigger. And I really like these. I got several different kinds. I got, and I've tried a couple of them, but this one seems to be my favorite so far. I got this one too, this Chagoo. I think it's Chagoo, I'm sorry. And this is just a little 9-inch sock circ. This particular one is a size 2.5. And this one is pretty sharp, this the Chagoo one. But this one is, I like this one because the needle, one of the needles is a little bit longer than the other needle. And you're working with the longer needle, you're holding it in your hand. So it's a little bit easier to do. And I seem to be fine with doing it, even though, you know, I'm a little bit larger. I'm like 6'2", and so my hands are larger and everything. But I seem to not have trouble using it. The only thing was, is when I got to the toe, I wasn't sure how to do the toe on the little 9-inch circ. So I could watch a little YouTube video, I'm sure, next time. But I just put it back on the 4 double points and did the toe on that. But it did seem to go faster. And then I wasn't like, losing a needle or dropping a needle or anything like that because they're attached. So it's kind of nice. All right, so the next thing I've been working on is, I made this little bag. I sewed it. And it's just a little like spring bag, scrappy. I just kind of used all kinds of little scraps and I love it. So I thought I made it like before Easter. I haven't podcasted in a little while. But so I made this and then I thought, I want to use it to bring back and forth to work my spring socks that I'm working on. And I started 2 other pairs of socks that I didn't have on the needles on the last podcast also. And so this pair is using, it's using this for the cuffs, heels, and toes. Sorry, it's kind of a messy cake here. But it's Quantum Leap by Leading Men Fiber Arts. And it's in the Showstopper base. And it's 75% merino, 25% nylon fingering weight. It's really cool. It kind of goes from light to dark purple, and then it has gray in it. So when it knits up, this is what it knits up like. It kind of goes spirals. It's kind of like a stripe. So it's really cute. So I thought I would do this on the cuffs and then the toes and the heels. And then the next yarn that I'm using is this yellow yarn, which I got from Hugh Loco. Let's see if I can find the tag. Here's her tag. And she has, this particular colorway is 75% merino, 25% nylon also. And it's the Phyllis sock base. And it's called Banana Who. So it's yellow. And I saw this a long time ago on the, I'm sorry the sunlight is coming in. It's kind of in the afternoon in my craft room. So yeah, this is Banana Who, and it's, I saw it on the Grocery Girls podcast. And they were making like little shorty socks for summer with it. But I thought, oh, I'd like to make a pair of socks, like a springy pair of socks with it. So, and then mine are going to be longer though. So this is where I'm putting in the waist yarn right here, this green stripe. All right, and then the next pair of socks that I have in this bag are also new on the needles. And this is sock yarn I've had for a while. This one is called Very Colorful Yarnings. And this one is a self-striping in really spring colors, or maybe they're summer colors really, because it's called Popsicle. So, and it does kind of remind me of Popsicle. And the interesting thing about this set, this one's 25% nylon, 75% merino also. But the interesting thing about this one is it, you know, normally self-striping will go in a pattern and it'll just repeat the same pattern. But this does not. This goes in a different type of pattern. I'll show you the first sock on this one. So I don't know, I was just expecting it to just repeat the same color striping, but then all of a sudden the orange showed up. And so the striping, it does repeat, but it, gosh, it's a lot longer of a repeat. It looks like it goes, see, now there's the orange again. So it's down here again. So it goes in a much longer repeat. So it looks like there's the little purple grouping and then the blue grouping. That's what it looks like. Yep. So anyway, it's kind of interesting. I like it though. All right, and so these are also my standard vanilla socks. These are on 64 stitches. I did 28 rows of the cuff on these. These are kind of a little bit on the longer side. They're not super short like summer socks. But I wanted them to wear like in spring, you know, in the future. So, okay. And then in this bag, I have a couple of other of those 9-inch needles that I got. There's another pair of the Chagoos, and then there's this Haya pair. Now this pair is supposed to be the sharpest pair that they have. I haven't tried these yet, but I have them in the bag. So maybe I'll switch out some of these socks that I'm working on and try them out. But I had watched a podcast. Now I can't remember the lady's name, but I feel like she's like a doctor or something, or maybe she's a professor. I'm not sure. It was like a sock school, and she was reviewing these little 9-inch needles, and she had said that it doesn't really, I had heard that it mattered what size your hands were. If they were, like, if you had really small hands, it would be easy to use these 9-inch circs, but she said that's not true. She said anybody could use them, and it just is the way that you hold your hands. So I thought, you know, I'm going to try a few pairs and see what I think. And I like them. I'm totally fine with using them. I think you could make your hands cramp by using them if you were holding, you weren't holding them right. But she mentions and she shows how to, you know, hold them so it doesn't make your hands cramp. So, all right. So the next thing, so that was that bag. Let me see. Oh, okay. The next thing was in this bag. This is a bag that I made like last spring, I think. With little owls on it. I'm sorry about the sun. Hi. Okay, I'm back and I fixed the problem with the light coming in through the window because it was getting a little crazy. So I'm just gonna go back over this bag. It's a little owl bag that I made like last spring. And inside of this, I have a shawl that I started. And it's a shawl that I saw on a podcast. I saw both of the ladies on the podcast wearing one, and they're like scrappy shawls. So they use like leftover yarn, and it was super cute, you know, and they were making ones for friends for gifts, and they were both knitting on it, you know, at different times with scraps that they had on hand. So I was like, that is so cute. I want to make one of those with my leftovers. And the podcast that I saw it on was called Meanwhile at the Castle podcast. And there's two ladies on it. One of the ladies, her name is Emily Clausen, and she's the one who designed this pattern. And I believe it's a free pattern. And they made multiple shawls with it, and they're super cute, but it's kind of that sort of shape, if that's the kind of thing you're interested in. So anyway, I would go check that out, but I'll show you what I have started with. I'm using size 6 circular needles, and I just have like a little bit left over on a little low skein. Kind of have it tangled up a little, but this is the beginning of it. And it's in that same shape. It just keeps getting bigger. It's super easy. And you just keep putting scraps that you have. So I had like a little thing with a bunch of different scraps in it. And I thought I would just put whatever scraps I wanted to in it and make a little shawl. And really it's kind of more like a scarf. So, all right. And that's the Scrappy by a Shawl by Emily Clausen. So, and I believe that's a free pattern, so you should go check that out. And you should actually check out that podcast and see them wearing it. And you can see them in the little cover photos that they're wearing it, and it's really cute. So, all right. And I was using size 6 circular needles that are signatures. All right, so the next thing I was going to tell you about, I need to change the page in my notes. Okay, so I have another work in progress, and it is, it's crochet. And I've been watching this other podcast, and she's on YouTube, and her name's Krista. She lives in Nairobi, Kenya. And I've been watching her, and she does, I don't know that she has patterns, because I couldn't find them on Ravelry, but she does tutorials on how to do things. And you just kind of, they're real, like, you know, nice projects. And she just kind of goes through step by step. So there's not really a pattern per se. So I couldn't show it to you. But I'm going to try to put I put the finished picture up at the beginning of my podcast for her new cowl that I'm working along with them. And I'll try to put a picture in here. And I really just have like kind of a back view of it. I don't have a front view of her wearing it. But if you go over to her podcast and look at her tutorial for the, it's called a Cozy Boho Cardi. So I thought, I'm going to try to make that. And it seemed pretty easy, and it's going really quick. And I just picked yarn out of my wall behind me, you know, that I had. I'm just going to show you 3 of the colors that I'm using. So these 3 colors, this one's Ice Cream, Toast, and what was this one? Jelly Bean. And they're all Spud and Chloe Sweater. And I think I got these from a yarn shop that was going out of business. Honestly, I wonder, why do I have so much of this? I do have quite a bit. So I was like, why do I have so much of this? I was like kind of digging around in my cubbies back here, and I was like, oh my gosh. I don't know what I was planning to make. I have no idea. Maybe a sweater, maybe a shawl. I don't really know. I have no recollection of when I bought it. but I do remember it being on like heavy discount because Yarn Shop was going out of business. Because I used to frequent 2 yarn shops that both went out of business, and I got most of my yarn from them. So, all right. And so these are Spud and Chloe sweater. They're worsted weight. You know what? The interesting thing, when I was, crocheting with this, I thought it feels kind of like it has some cotton content, and it does. Let me see. I had it written down. It is 55% wool, 45% cotton. So I thought this would be nice for like the summertime to wear. It's kind of a little, okay, it's a little bit hippie chick, but then that's how I am. So I thought, oh, that'll be perfect. So here's what it looks like so far. Let me see if I can find my hook that I'm using. I will look in just a second, or I'll drop it. Okay. So this is it. Now it looks like a blanket, but that's how it looks when you're making it. So somehow it gets folded and it becomes a cardie. Like it gets folded like in half somehow when it's a little bit bigger, obviously. And then it's like stitched together somehow on each side. And then you're wearing it like this. No, I'm kind of making a hot mess of this. But you're wearing it like this, and your arms are kind of coming out these little holes on the side. So you'll have to look at the picture, and then you'll see what I mean. But I thought I'm going to just do 3 colors. And I considered actually just doing 2 colors or 1 color. But I thought, well, I'll just do like 2 kind of neutrally colors, and then this bright color. I had a lighter colored pink, but I only had 2 skeins of it. So I wanted to make sure I had enough to finish the project without getting any more, because I don't know that I could even find that the colorway anymore. Yeah. So anyway, so this is what I have so far. Basically, you're just making a large square, and she goes through on the tutorial, the very first tutorial, and shows you how to do it. She does have like a revised like a second tutorial, and so that is what I would start with, because she kind of goes over the beginning of it because she's revised how many stitches you put in the corners of these. So I would look at that revised one. But basically what she's saying is the first one, she says to just put 2 stitches in every, she puts 1 stitch in every corner. 1 stitch, chain 1 stitch, like that. But in the revised version, because she's made a second one and she decides she likes the second one better, and the way it lays and the way she can wear it or something. And so she says to put 2 stitches, chain 1, 2 stitches in each corner on the revised version. So that's really the only revision that I saw on it. So, I mean, it's not that difficult, but so yeah, and I'm at the point where she said to like measure it like by putting this on your clavicle, I don't know, and then kind of doing this, and when it's longer, like down to here, that's when I'm going to start for the arms. So, I was going to show you what size hook I'm using. I got this little set of hooks. They're all kind of jumbled right here. She recommended these clover hooks, and I really like them. So I bought the set, and it was like less expensive, I think, to buy the set, and I bought it on Amazon. But I'm using this J hook for this project. So, and these are clover. Yep, and I saw them on Amazon and bought them, and they sent them along to me. So I will let you know how that goes. Check back with me. It should be interesting. All right. Anyway, so finished objects. I'm going to go back to that. Okay, so I made this little pair of mittens for my boss's grandchild, and and I put the picture at the front of the podcast, and I'll try to put it in here somewhere if I can. Somewhere. And it's just this little pair of these mittens. And I had, for some reason, I was I was concerned about putting the face and the ears and everything on. So I kind of like, and then I broke my finger and I wasn't able to do anything for a while. So I finally got those together, and honestly, it's been about a month or a month and a half since I gave them to her. So I don't have them to show you anymore, but I just wanted to show you the picture of them. And then inside the hands, I put like a little heart. I was going to put a tongue in there, but I decided to do the heart because it's a little girl. So, and I did those in this yarn. This is the leftovers that I have of it. And this one is Dream in Color Classy. And it's a worsted. And it has like all these speckles of these different colors in it. I just thought it'd be cute for a little girl. And then this one is called Awesome Wow is the name of it. And the other two colors were just scraps that I used for the cuffs. So I just put like a stripe of each color in the cuff so that it kind of matched the main color. So it would just be little crazy little mittens for the little girl, so she could have like chats with each other, with each hand, you know, they could talk to each other or whatever. So anyway, that is that finished object. The next thing is, oh, okay, I have a pair of socks that I finished. I did a pair of socks. I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee. I have a pair of socks that I finished, and they were the Lolo Did It colorway for St. Patrick's Day. And it's called Hippo for St. Patty's 2018. And so this had just many speckles of green in it and brown. And then this little Lolo in Shamrock was the second color. And so I finished these. And this is what they look like. So they're really cute. I didn't quite have enough to do, with those, the little Lolos, I don't quite have enough to do the whole ribbing at the top, so I just chose to do the toes and the heels on this pair. And I put them on the sock blocker, so they kind of look a little, you know, flattened, but it's just because I had them on some sock blockers so that you could see them. And I really like them. These are just my standard vanilla socks, 64 stitches, and I did 28 rows of a cuff. These are just for winter in my boots. I just decided that I liked like kind of a longer leg for some of my winter socks. Most of my socks were shorter leg and they had a shorter cuff. And I went to doing the longer cuff and the longer leg on quite a few socks so that I have some more warmer ones for winter. Okay, so this, and I knit these on size 2, 2.75 needles. And then the next thing that I finished was a hat. So I did, last podcast, I did a violet waffle hat, and I really liked it. So then I made a second one. And so this one, I used this yarn, which is called, it's by Cascade Yarns. It's called Wave. And this is what I had left of it. And it kind of goes from blues and greens, like kind of like the ocean, really. This is what I had left. So I used most of it. And I started off with a size 7 needle, Knitter's Pride Zing. And then I switched over to the 8. I did the ribbing portion with the size 7. And then I went to the size 8 for the body of the hat. So it's really long looking, but I wanted it slouchy. So this was where I did the 7, like right down here. And then this pattern goes right into this. This is the violet waffles part. And then I put this pom-pom on. So it's kind of funny, but I'll put it on. So really it's just a slouchy hat like this. Just for waiting at the train station because it's so cold out there. All right. And the next thing I was going to show you is I was going to show you some some purchases that I had, and I'm going to do tea and coffee corner. And then one of my friends sent me something, so I'll show you that. Since we're talking about hats and this pom-pom, I thought I would show you, I made an order with Fabunits. And of course, this is fake fur. It's not real. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. But so yeah, so it's fake fur. And I placed an order with Fabunits, which is on, I think it's on Etsy, is where I found it. And they have all sorts of fake fur pom-poms. And I wanted to get some crazy colors. So this is like a little, okay, I got quite a few of them. So, so I could just pick one out. Like, look at this one. This one has sparkles on it. Like, what? Isn't that cute? I'm sure I'll find a hat that needs that. And this one's pink. And then oh, this one's crazy. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Totally crazy. And then I got a couple of brown and black ones. Like there's a brown one. Look at the hair on that. It's like funny. And then a purple tipped. A hot pink tipped. Oh my gosh. This one, I don't know what that is, but it's cute. One with black tips on it. There's another colored one. These ones are crazy. I don't know what hat I will put those on. But my sister's husband is going to get one for Christmas this year. I'm not sure which pom-pom. I don't think he's going to get the big pink one, but we'll see. Probably no, he's not. But I just thought those are so cute. Let me move them out of the way. Okay, so now I have my stash of pom-poms for hats for the future. All right, and then the next thing that I was going to talk about is my friend Marilee. I used to work at a payroll company in Colorado Springs before I moved here. I still do payroll. I just do it in downtown Denver now. But I used to work for a payroll company in the Springs, and she worked with me when I first started. She was across from me, and we were both just doing all these payrolls, like cranking them out all day. And so she made me this. Isn't it cute? So she started sewing recently. I don't know. She got a different payroll job. She's doing payroll for a dealership somewhere. And she got a different payroll job, and she's sewing, and she must have a fancy machine if it did that, right? It's so cute. And so I made her a bag, and we traded, but I don't even remember which bag. I think I had made a bunch of bags, and I said, pick whatever you want, and then I sent it to her, and then she wanted to make me something, and I said, I would like a notions thing for one of my bags, and she made me that. Isn't it super cute? So I haven't used it. I was waiting to show you. It's so cute. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know, like the surfers in California. I'm from California. Like they would wear shirts with this plaid. Kind of reminds me of that a little. So cool. I love it. And her name's Marilee, so she made me this. So it's super cute. Okay, and then the next thing, let me see. I'll turn my notes. Okay, so yesterday I decided I wanted to go to this yarn shop, and I hadn't had time to go there yet because it's kind of far. Like to just go somewhere across town in Denver with all the traffic and everything, it can take like an hour or more, just depending on the weekends. It's crazy. And so I had been going up to Fort Collins to go to the Loopy U because I love it up there. But I decided I wanted to go see this other yarn shop. And my friend, she wasn't able to go, I think it was last weekend. They had like a little class at the beginning on Saturday, the first Saturday of the month, like at 9 a.m. or something. And so she wasn't able to go. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to go to this other yarn shop that I wanted to see. I had heard about it from the Grocery Girls. And it's called Colorful Yarns. And I don't remember the name of the town, but it's kind of down south by the IKEA in Denver. So I went down there yesterday and it was a bit of a haul. There was a lot of traffic, but I got a couple things and I was just going to show them to you. So I got 4 different kinds of sock yarn, and I just got some kind of springy colors of regia. So I got these. They're really cute. I thought this one's so cute. It's like purples and greens, and then this one, and they're self-striping, so they should stripe up. That one's supposed to stripe up in that manner. And then this one, I guess, in this manner, but these don't look like the same colors in those pictures, so I'm not sure. I'll have to knit those up to see what they look like, but they're so cute. So I got these, and then I got, this is why I went there, is because I wanted to see this. It's like a sock yarn that only this yarn shop carries. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And what it is it you knit it up, and if you knit it up at this certain gauge with these certain needles and getting this certain gauge per row, then it will make a pattern in the sock that you have to have specific gauge to get. And I had heard that there was like different little scenes that showed up in the yarn, and when I went there, they didn't have all the different, kinds available, but they did have this watermelon one. So I got this one, and that's how it's supposed to knit up. And it's really cute. So I thought I'd like to try the watermelon one. The other ones, I don't know, they were like Pac-Man. I don't even know what else was in them. And then there was some that there was one called dragon fruit, and just different kinds of edibles, really. That's all that I saw there. I didn't see the real intricate designed dyed yarn. So I thought I would try this. It was a nice shop. It had a lot of yarn. I took a couple photos real quick in there to see, so you could see how much yarn they had. In case you want to check it out. All right, and I also had hedgehog, so I got a hedgehog there. It was really a cute color, and I thought I could put this in a shawl or make a pair of socks with it. And I got a hat yarn, or worsted, so I could make a hat with this. I thought this was really cool, maybe with one of my new pom-poms, like this, or or this. That would be crazy. Maybe not that. But anyway, so, and this one was nerd string. And it looks like it was OOAK is the colorway on that. So it's cute. Okay, and then the only other thing that I have, I do have, well, okay, I'll show you. I have a couple of Lolo Did It. I got 2 Lolo Did It's. I got this one, which was Starburst. And then this one is Polyjuice Potion. I got these a while back, but I just hadn't shown them to you yet. And I got a couple of little minis with them, so I could pick and choose which ones I wanted to use with them. And these are the little Lolos. I have a Shamrock, a blue tourmaline, Violet Beauregard, which is the purple one, and then Sunglasses Not Included, which is the yellow one. So I thought I could just pick and choose which ones I wanted. I am teaching this lady who sits next to me at work how to knit in this. She's got the Starburst. I had ordered a hat quantity of worsted in the same colorway. And so that was when I ordered this. I had ordered that for her so she could learn how to knit with some nice yarn. And she's knitting a hat with it. So she knits a little bit on it, and then she brings it back to me. And if there's any problems, we rip it out and we go back. Or we just fix it. You can drop down and fix it. But sometimes, like her daughter knit on this very last time, her daughter knit on it for a while, but she was knitting the purl stitch. She didn't know the difference between the knit and the purl. So it has like a couple of rows of purl in the middle of it. And so, so she's like, could you just rip the needles out and fix it? And I was like, yeah. So it's super easy. So we'll see when we're done with that hat. I'm going to try to get a picture of it or of her in it and bring it to you so you can, I'll put it on the podcast if she'll let me. So, all right. So let's see. The last thing is tea and coffee corner. So I am drinking apricot almond San Marco. That's a new flavor that I just opened up from my last shipment. And it's really delicious. And it does taste like apricots and almonds. So it's really good. And then the tea that I had, I was just going to show you. This tea is a big hit at my work. So my boss, she seems to love it because the can is empty, I think we need more of it. So it's berries and cherries, and I got it at Trader Joe's. So I just went to Trader Joe's yesterday, and I thought I'm going to get another berries and cherries to bring back to work because she loves it. So I love it too, but she's super into it. And then the second kind that I have for you today is Lemon Lavender Lane. And this one I got up at the Celestial Tea House. So I don't know where you could get it, and maybe this spring they're going to have it in the stores, but it's really delicious. So there you go. So that's everything. Thanks for joining me. It seemed like kind of a long podcast. I'll see you next time. Bye.